Hello, my loves. I'm so excited to talk to you about the opportunities at Doordash. Yes, it's me, Jazzy Mac, and lately we've been talking about all of these really cool work from home opportunities. And today I'm actually going to show you 3 different opportunities. The first one is going to be for those of you that don't have, a ton of experience or you don't have this extensive resume. And then we're going to work our way up to jobs that require a little bit more experience. So there's something for everybody on this video. And of course, we're going to do the resume demonstrations, and we're also going to talk about how much each of these jobs pay. So let's hop right in. Now, this one is the category assortment specialist. And I know you're thinking, Jazzy, what the heck is that? Well, Doordash has something called Dash Mart, which is they're building out this new type of convenience store that has household items and local restaurant favorites that you can get delivered to your doorstep. So now, as a category assortment specialist, you're going to kind of work in the background with like the inventory management team to identify different items that need to be discontinued because they're underperforming. Now, what this means is if you see like there's a certain type of candy or bag of chips that people just are not buying, if you see that in the database and you say people just aren't buying this stuff, so hey, inventory management team, let's not stock that item anymore because people just don't buy it, right? So it's simple. The job title sounds complicated, but it's really not. You may be asked to add new items to the DoorDash catalog, or their little menu of items that you can kind of order from. And you may be required to let vendors know which items are out of stock. So this is not like you're going to be just this one person doing all this work. You'll work on a team in collaboration with others. But what I thought was cool about this role is they're not asking you to have a bunch of experience. They just want you to have experience in sales, buying, or retail. And what that translates to is either if you've got experience working at McDonald's as a cashier, well, that is considered sales experience. Do you not operate a POS system? Do you not have to keep track of inventory? Like even counting down the cash register in a retail setting, all of that is relevant experience. Now, this is a great, kind of junior role or just, it's a good entry level role to get into big tech companies because they pay $19 to $23 an hour. And so again, forget the whole people say, do I really need to have a bachelor's degree? No, that's just a preference. You don't really need a bachelor's degree. Trust me. If you don't have a bachelor's degree, it's totally okay. But what they would like for you to have is some experience with spreadsheets. So if you can use Excel or Google Sheets, then you are highly qualified for this role. Now, we're not going to do a resume demonstration for that role because it's pretty straightforward, but we are going to do one for the next role, which is going to be the senior accounts payable analyst. And I know you're thinking, Jazzy, I don't have an accounting degree. How am I going to get around this one? So this is an analyst role, which means that you're going to support the accounting team. Now, in this particular role, it says you're going to support all aspects of accounts payable, and supporting the P card. And what a P card is basically, it's a business credit card that they give employees. So when I used to travel, I would put all of my expenses for that business trip on the company P card. And it's just easier for them to track, what I'm spending and all of that type of stuff. So you may have to generate some reports, and you may have to do things like reconcile expense reports or invoices or unapproved invoices, and provide documentation to the accountant. So you're providing information to the accounting team. That's why this is more of an analyst role. And that's why you don't need to have an accounting degree or extensive experience to do that. So, and you'll probably be responsible for reaching out to people like me that would always forget to do my expense report. So you probably send an email and say, hey, Jazzy, we haven't seen your expense report for that trip that you took last month. Can you submit your expense report? The accounting team is asking for it. So you're just kind of like that in-between person that's like tapping people on the shoulder saying, hey, we saw you booked a trip last week on your P card. Can you please submit your receipts for it? And you would, take that information in and send it to the accounting team so that they can reconcile it. Now, you have a get it done mindset. You've got a good understanding of finance and operations controls. Again, if you've worked in any sort of retail, you've worked in any sort of, collections, billing support, all of that stuff is relevant experience. Okay. Now, here's the part that I wanted to talk to you all about a little bit more closely. Forget the bachelor's degree and 5 years of experience. They don't really need that, right? We talked about that a bunch of times. That's just something they prefer. It's not like a requirement because a lot of this stuff can be taught to you on the job or it could be a YouTube video. NetSuite and Concur are things that you can watch a quick YouTube video on. Concur is just, it's the website or like the software that we use to book business travel. So when I would go on a business trip, I would use Concur to book everything, to book my flight, my hotel. And NetSuite is the software that you'd actually use to submit your receipts to. So if I bought things like food, I would keep my receipts and then I would go into NetSuite and, upload a copy of my receipts into NetSuite. So yeah, let's look at the resume for that. Let's do this. Based on some of the words that we saw in that analyst role, we saw words like payroll, accounts payable. We saw data analysis. We saw words like vendors. We saw best practices. We saw account reconciliation. We saw service desk. We saw ad hoc reports. These are all things that you want to weave into your experience. And again, we want you to be freaking truthful. We don't want you to lie on your resume, but we do want you to highlight the things that you're already doing. So even if you work at Chick-fil-A, hey, this is still a very relevant role that can translate or transition easily into the accounting analyst. So maybe you provided guidance to the restaurant staff and vendors. Ooh, hot word. Maybe you provided information to supervisors and coworkers and all that stuff according to best practices. Maybe you did account reconciliation for the vendors that you had to pay. All of this is relevant experience that needs to be called out in your resume to get past that automated tracking system, which is the system that first is going to read your resume. And then the recruiters are going to say, oh, this person has all these keywords. Let me pull their resume. So that's why we've got NetSuite up here. We've got Concur. Those were some of their hot words. Again, if you don't know what that is, you could watch YouTube videos on it. Or obviously, if you've ever used NetSuite, if you've ever submitted an expense report, that's good enough to put it on your resume because they just want to know that you know what it is and that you can be trained on how to use it according to, their operation. So let's look at how much this job pays because I was excited about this. They pay $91,000 to $124,000. Listen, and that number can actually go up depending on what part of the country you live in. So this is a very high paying role. This is why you want to make sure that your resume is absolutely perfect, which yes, you can use the templates down in the description box for guidance if you need it. But this is a very high paying job, right? So let's hop into the next opportunity, which is going to be the operations analyst on the trust and safety team. Now, don't let that intimidate you. Operations analyst is just kind of like a technical support person. If you've ever done billing support, collection support, you had to provide that support in an operational setting. Okay. So a lot of you already have experience in operations and you just don't know it. You don't even realize it. This role is going to be responsible mostly for building out reports. So there may be people that tap you on the shoulder, or send you an email that says, hey, can we see a report on the number of people who got locked out of their account or who couldn't access their account? You could run a report using SQL, or you may look in Salesforce, or you could be tracking that data in Google Sheets. This isn't stuff that you have to build from the ground up. This is going to most likely be stuff that the company already has kind of set up. They have the infrastructure set up for this stuff. And you're just going to be the person that accesses the information and sends it to whoever needs the information. So you're just going to be like this middle person. So you might do some dashboard monitoring. You may be looking at some trend analysis to say, hey, it's a spike in people reporting fraud is happening with their account. And you may have to escalate that if you see that there is like a spike in certain activities. So you can escalate that to the information security team or the, customer security team, things like that. They're only saying, hey, 2 years of technical experience. We've already talked about it. I don't care if you work for the cable company. That is technical experience, right? If you've worked for the Apple store or you worked at the AT&T store selling cell phones, that is technical experience. So they're saying it'd be nice, it'd be cool if you had some Salesforce, Google Suite experience, Jira. Jira is used for ticketing and reporting like bugs and software and things of that nature. Salesforce is used for like a ticketing system. And here are some more hot words that we can put in our resume based on experience, right? So let's look at another resume demonstration. And again, they're recruiting for a trust and safety team member. So we could throw that in our resume and say, hey, I'm highly familiar with CRM systems and I'm excited to use my proven skills on the Doordash trust and safety team. And if you have experience in Salesforce or Zendesk or Jira, obviously those are things that you can call out. The knowledge and skills area, they did say they want you to have a little bit of SQL experience. Again, SQL experience doesn't have to come from on-the-job experience. You could literally watch a Udemy video on SQL to familiarize yourself with it. Google Suite, again, YouTube videos, right? Google Sheets, trend analysis. These are all hot words that we want to make sure are in our resume. So if you were like an IT consultant, maybe you had to provide support to resolve user issues based on user trends that required you to perform root cause analysis. Those are all hot words, right? So, again, this template is down below in the description box if you want to use it. But again, please be knowledgeable and, about what you're saying, but be truthful above anything else, right? So if you use this template, of course, you'd eliminate all of this and fill in your information. But this is going to be the type of wording that gets your application pulled and has recruiters reaching out to you. Okay, so let's look at how much this particular job pays because it pays the most. This particular job pays $130,000 to $175,000 per year. Like, oh my goodness, I'm just going to do some quick math on that because, even if they paid you the lowest possible, 130 divided by 2,080, that's $62 per hour at the low end. So this is a very high paying, it's a great role for you to enter into if you've got any type of retail experience, technical experience. You worked as a customer manager, a shift manager, just to be able to get a role like this could be life-changing. So you all, that's all I have for today. I'm super excited for those of you that are already landing jobs at places like Cash App and American Express. Those videos did really well. A lot of you jumped on those opportunities and it made my heart so freaking happy. Until the next time, I will see you all in the next video and let me know what I can help you with. Let me know what questions you have. All right, guys, bye.